Let us close the eyes for a moment, remembering God and the Masters. Let us pray. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Divine protect us all. May the Divine nourish us with wisdom and knowledge. May we meditate and pray together. May we have no conflict among us. May there be more love and peace within and everywhere. Om. Amen. I humbly bow to one formless God. I bow to all the saints and sages of all times and places. I bow to sage Patanjali and the lineage of Kriya Yoga masters. I bow to all of you. You are the living presence of God. Good evening and good afternoon. We are back to our discussion on yoga philosophy, and we have started in January about the yoga philosophy of yoga was our topic. Now, from today, this year, we are going to start the series on Yoga Sutra Patanjali. Yoga Sutra is very big. We will cover only some important verses, and some verses or some sutras we will discuss in detail, which are more important for our practice. To pay our respect to Sage Patanjali, I'm beginning our talk with the prayer to Sage Patanjali. योगेन चित्तस्य पदेन वाचा मलं शरीरं च वैद्यकेन योपाकरोत्तं प्रवरं मुनीनां पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि. I adore and bow with folded hands to Sage Patanjali, who is a great Muni, who helped to remove impurities of mind through yoga, to remove mistakes from language and speech through his writing on Sanskrit grammar, and to guide in removing diseases and impurities from body through practice of yoga. So when we begin this topic, Yoga Sutra Patanjali, after paying our respect to Sage Patanjali, we'll begin this class with the topic, what is yoga? Sage Patanjali started with this concept that what is yoga? He is the propounder of yoga philosophy. So today we will cover from Sutra 1st through 4. What is this yoga philosophy? So Sage Patanjali begins with this definition of yoga. And just to tell you that this entire book of Yoga Sutra of Sage Patanjali, it has 4 books, and each book is called a Pada. So just to tell you that first book is called Samadhi Pada, which is related to goal of our life, and it has 51 sutras. The second book is Sadhana Pada, which is about the means of practice, and it has 55 sutras. The third book is called Vibhuti Pada, which speaks about the yogic achievements, yogic powers, and it has 56 sutras. And the fourth book is Kaivalya Pada, which speaks about the realization, and it has 34 sutras. So total, there are 196 sutras in this treaty, Yoga Sutra Patanjali. The question comes to mind that why is Sage Patanjali speaking about Samadhi in the very beginning? Because whatever we do, first thing, important thing in our life is to know the goal. What is our target? What is our goal? Where are we going to? So if the goal is clear, then second comes the practice. And after that, our achievement. And finally, realization. And that is why Sage Patanjali is speaking about the goal of life, which is Samadhi. As a yogi, this is our highest goal. Now, because of the time, we'll just not go into too much detail of sutras, but we'll cover the important aspect. Now, if we think about the yoga philosophy, so Sage Patanjali begins with the definition of yoga. So first sutra in the Samadhi Pada, first book. Sage Patanjali here is giving the definition as Atha Yoga Anushasanam. Atha means now, yoga is practice of yoga. Anushasanam. Anushasan means teaching, discipline, exposition. So what Sage Patanjali is saying, that now I am going to expound or teach the discipline of yoga. Now, what is discipline of yoga? Anything we do in our life, we need some discipline. And discipline means a proper way of doing something. Even when we take food, there are certain rules to follow, where to sit, how to sit, where to keep silverware, where to keep plate, and so on. So everything we do in our life needs some discipline. So one meaning of yoga is discipline. So here Sage Patanjali is saying that now I'm going to explain the path of yoga. Yoga, this word, very common meaning of word yoga is union. Although in Sanskrit language, there are 32 meanings of word yoga, and the common meaning is union. But just to clarify, because we are studying this Yoga Sutra Patanjali, I would like to clarify that here Sage Patanjali is not using this meaning of word yoga. Union is fine, but what Sage Patanjali is mentioning here, it is not yujir yoge, it is yuj samadho. So yoga is samadhi. The meaning of word yoga throughout this Yoga Sutra is used as samadhi. So we will take this meaning samadhi. So what Sage Patanjali is speaking about, he is not talking about simple union of body and soul, simple union of microcosm, macrocosm, but he is talking about the highest meaning, which is samadhi. So the word anushasan, when we say anushasan, so it is coming from shasana. Shasana means teaching or discourse. And anushasan means the teachings which are already existing before. So Sage Patanjali is not claiming that I am teaching something new. Yoga is already present from the beginning of creation, which was given by God. So your Sage Patanjali is just teaching it, which is already existing. That's why it is not Yoga Shasan, but it is Yoga Anushasana. So it is a Yogasya Anushasanam, Yoga Anushasanam. So discipline of yoga. So this verse has only two words like Artha and Yoga Anushasana. Why do we need the teaching? We need the teaching to pacify our mind. Our mind, which is constantly remaining in different types of thoughts, occupied by thoughts, and it remains restless. Our mind is distracted. It's not focused mind in general. So first we have to discipline the body and discipline the mind. So when we want to achieve the goal, it begins with discipline of mind, and that is why Sage Patanjali is telling, now I am going to discuss or explain the discipline of yoga. When we say discipline of yoga, to control the mind, it's never easy. So when we want to control the mind always has triple divine qualities. Like in Kriya practice, we have triple divine qualities. So for mind also, there are triple qualities. What are the triple qualities? Mind is born of nature, or you can say Prakriti. So Prakriti has three intrinsic qualities, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So also the mind which is born out of Prakriti has these three qualities, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So long as these three gunas or qualities remain in perfect equilibrium, like equilateral triangle, the mind remains unmanifest, means mind merges into the original cause in Prakriti. But when there is imbalance in any one of these qualities, then the play of mind begins. It manifests and it plays in different forms, different kind of thoughts. One of these qualities always remain predominant and other two remain subordinate. So whatever we see in this entire world, it is all play of our mind, and mind under the influence of these three qualities. Usually the mind we can categorize in five uh, classes. So Sage Patanjali also speaks about the five states of mind. What he's telling, that there are five states. The first state is kshipta. Kshipta means agitated or scattered mind. Then second is mudha. Mudha means dull or lethargic mind. Third is vikshipta, which is partially focused. And fourth is called ekagra, one pointed. And the fifth state is known as niruddha, means fully arrested or fully controlled or regulated. So these five states we constantly experience in our day-to-day life. So this classification of the states of mind by Sage Vyasa, it is given by Sage Vyasa in the commentary of say Yoga Sutra Patanjali. It helps us to analyze our own mental state, and it can help us to make good progress in our yogic practice. So we can see whether our mind is kshipta, agitated, or it is one pointed, or it becomes fully regulated or arrested. However, we can discuss it some other time, but these are the five states we go through in our day-to-day life. So, Atha Yoga Anushasanam. What is this discipline of yoga? So, Sage Patanjali is giving now this detail about, he's taking up us into the subject matter. What is the discipline of yoga? So now it comes next one. He is giving the definition. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. These three words. Yoga means practice of yoga. Chitta vritti. Chitta means memory. Chitta means mind. And vritti means the modifications or thought. So chitta vritti means thoughts in the mind or memory. And nirodha means to stop, to cease, or to suppress or eliminate. So yoga, the definition is, yoga is the elimination, annihilation, and suppression of the modifications of mind. Modifications of mind means we are constantly under the influence of thought patterns. There is no time when we are free from thought, except when we are in deep state of meditation or we are in deep sleep state. These are the only two states when we become free from thought. Otherwise, thoughts are constantly coming, and more when we are at conscious level. So this sutra, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, this is the most beautiful sutra. And only in 3 words, it gives a sum up of scripture, and it thoroughly describes a meditation technique. Yoga is the beginning and end of everything. Yoga is the means as well as the end. Yoga is the process of meditation, so we can call it as a technique. And yoga is the achievement of meditation, which is called realization. So it is both. It is the goal, it is also the means. How to achieve that goal? We practice yoga. And what is yoga? Yoga is the goal of life, union, or to attain samadhi. If we think about this, these different states of mind, how does mind function? So when we say mind in Vedanta, we say mind we write with uppercase M. So the mind uppercase M, it constitutes 4 inner instruments. And what are those instruments? They are known as Mana, Buddhi, Chitta and Ahankara. So Mana is the Manas or Mana, it is the mind, cognitive mind. And Buddhi is the intellect, Ahankar is the ego, and Chitta is the memory. What is mind? So the definition by Adi Shankara is given about these 4 faculties. Mana is the mind. So samshayatmaka manaha. Mind is a doubting faculty. So whenever a doubt comes to mind, whether it is right or wrong, whether I should do or not, so this doubt is created because of the mind. Another definition is sankalpa vikalpatmakam manaha. Mind is the combination of imagination and alternative. Mind gives us some imagination. Mind gives us sankalp that I want to go to this place. So this is a sankalpa. Then how can I go? Whether I should go to this place or another place. So the vikalpa means alternatives are also given. So this is the function of mind. Then buddhi or intellect is nishchayatmika buddhi. Buddhi means it is the deciding faculty. Buddhi is that, or intellect is a deciding faculty. Remember, mind cannot decide. Mind always creates confusion. It loves to remain in confusion. Mind is doubting. So mind cannot take decision, but intellect is the faculty which takes decision. Then third faculty is, or inner instrument is ahamkara or ego. So aham karta iti ahamkara. This notion that I am the doer or I am doing something. So notion of doership is called ahamkara or ego. Then fourth inner instrument is memory or chitta, which is chintan kartru chittam. It is the faculty of recollection. So whatever we perceive, we experience through our sense organs, everything is accumulated in subconscious and then unconscious mind. So all these impressions which are deposited, they are the memory bank. So chintan kartru chittam. So these are the 4 inner instruments. With the help of these inner instruments, we live in our day-to-day life to experience the entire world and to move for performing our actions. Now in this sutra, a beautiful word is there, yoga chitta vritti nirodha. So here it comes the word vritti. What is vritti? Chitta we understand, chitta is the mind or chitta is memory. So what is vritti? Vritti means, you can say, chittasya vrittayah chitta vritti. It is the definition. If to understand what is vritti, there are many different meanings of this word, but here the vritti, it is coming from word vratta. Vratta means a circle. If you go to a lake and you just throw a stone in the lake, you can see there are some circles formed. The waves, they are in a circle form, they are slowly moving towards the periphery. So that vratta is the circle, and from that it comes vritti. So it is like in the lake of mind, a thought comes and then it starts making thought patterns, vritta. So this is chitta vritti, modifications of mind or thought patterns. And the word nirodha, nisheshana rodha, nirodha means complete cessation. When water is constantly flowing and we put some embankment or we put a dam, so the water is first regulated and it can be stopped. So that dam, putting a dam, constructing a dam is like nirodha. So complete cessation of thought pattern is known as the practice of yoga. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Although this word vritti, the meaning of vritti is to be or to exist. There are a couple of meanings of word vritti, like vritti means occupation, like a person who is working, and so his occupation is known as vritti. Then vritti means to move, to turn, to continue, or to roll on. Vritti means to act or to behave, to conduct. But the word has come from vritta. And I means that which gives power. So that word which gives power is known as vritti. In a circle, there is a center and there is circumference. So when from circle to in the circle from center to circumference, when these waves are traveling, so similarly in our lake of mind, a little stroke, or you can say one small thought, it produces several thoughts, and this is what it is known as vritti. And chitta is like the water of infinite ocean. In relation to earth, this water takes the form of a bay, a lake, or well. Similarly, chitta manifests in the form of likes, dislikes, desires, anger, greed, infatuation, etc. So all these are vrittis. As the waves are produced in water due to movement of air, similarly, our sense organs are attracted by the external objects of enjoyment, and there is change in the form of chitta, which is known as chitta vritti. Suppose you look at an apple, suddenly a thought comes to your mind, oh, such beautiful apple, I want to eat it. And when you want to eat it, the further thought comes with that, so it becomes chitta vritti. This word can be easily understood with a simple example. Chitta vritti. When a man tries to sit silently, immediately a whole chain of thoughts come up in his inner field. And this flow of thoughts, one wave after the other, is the chitta vritti. The human mind is always restless. Mind without restlessness is in reality is no mind at all. So mind and restlessness are the two sides of the same coin. And very often we see as soon as we want to sit for meditation, more and more thought starts entering the mind. So these chitta vrittis are created out of ignorance. An ignorant man searching for happiness in the material world goes from place to place, person to person, and from object to object, trying to get peace and happiness. But real happiness is not outside, it is inside, within. But the person doesn't know it. So he collects and gathers various experiences and impressions which are stored as memory. So this material memory is the source of all our thoughts, chitta vritti. Sometimes people ask that, oh, when I'm trying to meditate, so many thoughts are coming. From where these thoughts are coming? So thoughts are coming from the memory, where they are all accumulated and they come on the surface of our lake of mind. Now, let's try to understand this sutra a little bit more when it says yoga chitta vritti nirodha. So here, yoga as the means. When we say yoga as the means, so yoga is the art of overcoming one's thought waves. All the time we are influenced by thought patterns, thought waves. So when we overcome these thought waves, that is called the state of yoga. So yoga is the means of annihilation of all the waves of mind. To understand how yoga is control of modifications of mind, we need to know two things. In Vedanta also we study, we call it Tatastha Lakshana and Swarupa Lakshana. Tatastha Lakshana means apparent description, that which brings conclusion from a distance. So when we see something from a distance and we reach a conclusion, it is called Tatastha Lakshana. And Swarupa Lakshana means the real description. From a distance, we can see the object, but we don't know the reality or the real description. So Swarupa means when we experience the form of that object, then it is real description. So yoga is the means to restrain the mind. Suppression or restraining thought is not the solution, but to neutralize the thought is the solution. Otherwise, what happens? One thought comes, we try to remove it or it goes by its own. Another thought comes. So whatever thoughts are coming, we have to neutralize those. Only suppressing or restraining does not help. Now the question will arise that why is so much continuously arising in the mind? So if you think about a lake, the water in the lake is tranquil. But when the wind blows, the water of the lake is no longer still, it is full of waves. So wind is the cause of waves in the lake. Similarly, breath is the cause of thought waves in the ocean of chitta. A dead person has no thought, or a person who is in deep meditation or in samadhi state will not have any thought. So long as the breath moves, so also the thoughts move. That's why there is a beautiful description or correlation mentioned in yogic text, Hatha Yoga Pradipika, second chapter, second verse. It says, Chale vate chalam chittam nishchalam nishchale bhavet, yogis thanuptam apnuite tato vayum nirodhet. If the breath is restless, the mind is also restless. If the breath is calm, then mind is tranquil. So through breath control, yogi attains the state of realization. Therefore, we should regulate the breath. And this is the simplest method to regulate or to control the mind. Just using the breath, we can control the mind. In general, what happens that when we talk about controlling the mind, it is not easy because mind is very subtle instrument. But breath is grosser, which can be regulated. We can take long, deep breath. We can hold the breath for moments, but we cannot hold the mind. So we use the breath to regulate the mind in the practice of yoga, especially Kriya Yoga is based on that. So Sage Patanjali is saying that yoga is the way which helps to make the restless and turbulent mind extremely calm, peaceful, and still. Now, if we think about yoga as the goal, so yoga is the state of union of the two. Before the achievement of such a state of union, there is restlessness. And once this state of union is achieved, there is no distraction or deviation. The river is restless as long as it does not meet the ocean. Once the river meets the ocean, the limited river loses its name and form and it becomes one with the formless and vast ocean. So this is the union, where our individual consciousness completely merges with cosmic consciousness. So in this sutra, one thing is very clear to understand. The distinction between Vritti Nirodha and Vritti Laya. There are two words I am giving, Vritti Nirodha and Vritti Laya. Vritti Nirodha means restraint and control of Vritti. Vritti Laya means complete dissolution of Vritti. So in Vritti Nirodha, the meditator is completely free from all restlessness and up and down. Even after arising from meditation, his inner tranquil state continues. That is Vritti Nirodha. As he works and lives in the world compassionately detached. But the state of realization dawns when the state of realization comes, ignorance disappears completely and the person lives like a liberated soul. Although chitta vritti, the play of memory remains, still there are no more restless or overpowering desires. But in case of vritti laya, there is no rise of vritti. Vritti laya or complete dissolution of vritti is possible only at the time of death. So yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Now the third, after this, Sage Patanjali is talking about the next sutra, tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. Tada means then, drashtu swarupe avasthanam. Then the seer is established in swarupa, real form. The seer is established in his own real form. Tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. When? Tada means then. So when it happens? When a person has completely annihilated thought patterns. So he has stopped the thought patterns. His restless mind is completely merged with divinity. Then the seer is established in Swarupa, his own form or real form. What is Swarupa? So these three sutra, Atha Yoga Anushasanam, Yoga Chittavritti Nirodha, and Tada Drashtu Swarupe Avasthanam. These three are the complete essence of yoga philosophy. Or you can say the Yoga Sutra is explained in these three sutras, and all other are further expansion of these three. So these three together is the essence. Then you will remain. So once you control the thought patterns, you merge with divinity, then you will remain within yourself and perceive the state of consciousness. In the state of consciousness or in the state of samadhi, the drashta purusha means indwelling self as the perceiver is well established in pure consciousness. In Vedanta, we speak about triputi. Triputi means tri-basic prejudice. Like there are always three involved. For example, in this sutra, drashta. So drashta means the seer. And drashya, seen, and darshana is the sight. So there are three things, subject, object, and the process. Like a person who is seeing. So one who is seeing is the subject. He is called drashta. He is the seer. And object is known as the seen or drashya. And the process of seeing, it is known as sight. It is called darshana. So everything has these three, triputi. Drashta refers to the seer who perceive all the objects or lights. The person with this consciousness as a combination of the soul and ego is known as seer. And as long as there is sight, the soul is the seer. But actually the seer, the seen and sight are one. And that happens in the deeper state of meditation. The seer, one who is seeing, and what is being seen and the process, everything becomes one. So the real nature of the soul or pure consciousness is to not to be the seer. Drashta is the state of duality because there is subject objects, you are having still duality, but the yoga is the state of unity. Soul is knowledge, soul is truth. Although actually the soul cannot be described with words. However, for a little insight, understand that the soul and God are called Sat Chit Ananda, the truth, consciousness, and bliss. Now, in this sutra, Tada Drashtu Swarupe Avasthanam. This word Swarupa, we'll discuss little bit more. What is Swarupa? Swarupa means the real form, the form of the formless. There are always two, the body, and behind this body form, there is formless power which is called soul. So Swarupa, Rupa means form, Swa means own. This is the beauty of soul. The essence or the principle is the soul, Swarupa. The objective of yoga is to obtain complete unity. Upon attaining unity, there is no differentiation, no distinction, or no duality. Although the soul is the doer, seeing the real unity in everything is the essence of yoga. So when we say we are practicing yoga means we have to see the real unity in everything we see. When we see that unity instead of duality, then we are established in yoga. Swarupa and Pararupa. Swa means own, Para means other. When I see my real form, how can I live in falsehood or illusion? How can I live in ignorance? How can I be in sorrow? So these are not my form. For example, if I am angry in ego or jealousy, I am not in real form. Because anger, jealousy, sorrow is not my form. My form is Satchidananda. So to think of our own form, we have to change our nature. When we want to experience our own form, first we have to change our nature. Without changing the nature, one cannot realize Swarupa. We do not want to change our nature of six inner enemies, our nature of depression, rejection, and all funny things we do in life. Unless all these are renounced, Swarupa Darshan is not possible. Again, I'll tell you two things, Swarupa and Swabhava. Two words to think about or to understand. Tada Drashtu Swarupe Avasthanam. So Swarupa, real form is Sat, Chit, Ananda, truth, consciousness, and bliss. This is our real form. As a soul, this is our quality, or this is the attribute given to us. Now, two words we can understand, Swabhava and Swarupa. Bhava, attitude. So Swabhava means nature. If somebody is angry, say sometimes it is his nature, means it is Swabhava. So Swabhava, to change the nature or Swabhava, we have to do sadhana. When we want to change our nature, our Swabhava, our attitude, we have to perform some spiritual practice, which is called sadhana. So all our meditation techniques, what we practice, or we do japa, or we do any worship. So all these sadhana or spiritual practice are to change our nature, Swabhava. And second word is Swarupa. Swarupa means to be established in the self. So Swarupa means perfection or Siddhi. So there are two things, sadhana and Siddhi. Sadhana is performed or spiritual practice is performed to change the nature. When we change our external nature, which is illusion, which is not the reality. Then we see our real form, which is Swarupa. So that is the state of Siddhi or perfection. Swarupa and Swabhava. To change the nature is the sadhana, and to be established in Swarupa is the Siddhi. We cannot change the Swarupa because our own form or soul, it is permanent, it is eternal. So we can't change that. What we can change? We can change our Swabhava, our own nature. If we are angry, so we can control the anger. If we are non-forgiving, then we can learn how to forgive. But we justify ourselves saying that I do become angry. Is it really good? Sometimes I see people that they tell with proud, what to do? I become angry sometimes, as if it is a very good qualification. All our problems have one reason, and that is infatuation, as we study in Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna, he had this problem of moha infatuation. Bhagavad Gita begins and ends with the one principle of moha, that you should be free from infatuation. In in the classical text on Vedanta, which is called Drak Drashya Viveka, in that scripture, Adi Shankara has explained about 5 things. He says that the Swabhava and Swarupa, when we are discussing, so Drak Drashya Vivek tells, Asti Bhati Priyam Rupam Nama Chetyansha Panchakam Adra Trayam Brahma Rupam Jagat Rupam Tatodvayam Asti Bhati Priya Rupa Nama. These are the 5 qualities. So in this world, Jagat, in this world, every object has 5 qualities. What are these 5 qualities? So Adi Shankar is telling Asti. First quality of any object is Asti. Asti means exists. It is related to truth, which is called Sat. Then second quality is Bhati. Bhati means shines. It is related to consciousness or Chit. And third is Priya. Priya means dear. It is related to bliss or Ananda. So they are known as Swarupa. They are the form of soul. Sat, Chit, Ananda. So Asti, Bhati and Priya. These 3 qualities, they belong to the soul. Then Nama and Rupa. So Nama means name, Rupa means form. These are the qualities of body and they are known as Bahya Rupa or the world. So we know the world, we understand or experience the entire world with these 2 things. It has name, it has form. So also body has a name, it has a form. But we are not body. What we are the soul. And what is the quality of soul? Satchidananda. So Asti Bhati Priya, these 3 belong to soul, and 2 qualities of name and form, they belong to the body. Asti Bhati Priyam. We are actually busy with name and form only, but we are not conscious of the other 3, like Sat, Chit, Anand or Asti Bhati Priya. When we become aware of these 3, we start living in soul consciousness. And name and form is the quality of the world or the body. We can understand with an example. Shri Guruji has given this example very often. It is like ring and gold. Gold does not have any form. Gold is just gold, but when gold is given a form, then it is like a ring, a necklace, a bracelet, or any other jewelry we can make out of it. But in all, the gold is common. But each object has a different name, like bracelet, necklace, ring, and so on. And it has a form. So name and form can be different, but the essence, everything is essentially gold. That is what is our soul. So essentially we are soul, but we are busy with name and form and we forget about our own quality. So they are Bahya Rupa. If ring is broken or it decomposes, the gold will remain as it is. So in the ring, gold is the existence. Every individual has three types of experiences. When we live in this world with name and form, so we always have three types of experiences. What are these experiences? They are known as Sukha, Dukkha, and Udasinata. We have all these three: Sukha, Dukkha, and Udasinata. What is Sukha? Sukha means happiness, Dukh means unhappiness, sadness, sorrow, and Udasinata means remaining neutral or apathy. Sometimes it happens, we are very happy, sometimes we are unhappy, and sometimes we are very neutral, means we are completely remaining, we are not interested, but we are just watching. We are neither feeling any happiness nor we feel unhappiness. And a yogi remains as a drashta or he is neutral. A yogi is not affected by sukha or dukkha. Yogi is constantly remaining in his own nature and enjoying everything he sees like a drashta, or he is just a witness. So he's udasina. Udasina, this is a beautiful word. If I talk about the Sukha and Dukkha are the result of our own action. And so also the and virtues. Vices and virtues, they're also because of our action or karma. So also Sukha Dukkha are the result. Happiness or sorrows, they are the result of our own karma. Sri Lahiri Mahasaya has given a beautiful definition of Sukha and Dukkha. He says that Samipe kha sukha, durete kha dukkha. Samip means near. Kha means space, formless sky. When we go near space or sky, then we are in happiness, sukha. Durete dukkha means when we go away from the sky or space, then we are in sorrow. It has a metaphorical meaning. In our body, when we are practicing Kriya, we have 7 chakras to concentrate. In the 7 chakras from fontanelle to bottom center, the center one is the heart center. And heart, if you count from the bottom, so each center has some qualities as well as the lower 5 chakras or centers. They are connected with one of the elements, gross element. The bottom center is earth element. Second center is the water element. Navel center is the fire element. Heart has air. And throat center is the space or ether. So space is in the throat center, and when we go away from space, away means down. When we go away or down, then it is dukkha. And from space, throat center onward, when we go up to soul center and fontanelle, so there are all different spaces, different layers of consciousness. It's all space. So when we go towards this samipe, means we go near the space from throat and above, then we are in happiness, sukha. But when we go away from space, means down, then it is dukkha. And this word udasin, we split it in ut, asin. Ut means up, asina means to remain or to establish. So one who is beyond likes and dislikes and keeps relation without being inspired by these two is udasina. So any person who is beyond likes and dislikes, and that person keeps relation without being inspired by likes or dislikes, so he is called udasina, and this is the state of swarupa state. So in general, when we are influenced by likes or dislikes, we are still experiencing happiness or unhappiness, sadness, sorrow, or joy. But when we are udasina, means we become free from the influence of these two likes or dislikes, then we are established in Swarupa. So what is the real meaning of yoga from these three sutras? Real meaning of yoga is to go from form to formless, to go from gross to subtle, or to become introvert from extrovert state. Due to modifications of mind which are known as vrittis, we become extrovert and we move towards the gross world. The more we become extrovert, the more we become rajasic and tamasic, if you remember three qualities of mind. On the other hand, when the mind becomes introvert, rajas and tamas will disappear and we become sattvic in nature. When there is no vrittis, only real form of God remains. So long as we have vrittis, we are always busy with the world. But when there is no vritti, we are in our real form, and real form means we experience ourself or God. So this is tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. Then Sage Patanjali is explaining in the next sutra, which is also important. In this sutra, Sage Patanjali is telling that what happens if we are not established in Swarupa. If we are not able to experience our own form, then what happens is telling the fourth one, it is a non-yogi state. Vritti sarupyam itaratra. Vritti sarupyam itah atra. At other times in when a person is not in the state of yoga or union, one remains identified with the thought waves. So there are two things. If we are able to regulate the mind, we go beyond likes and dislikes, we go beyond the play of our mind, then we are in the state of yoga, Swarupa. We experience our own form. But other time when we are not in that state, then what will happen? We identify ourselves with the thought waves or vritti. For example, sorry. When a person is not in samadhi, that means the state of super consciousness. When a person is not in samadhi, he perceives himself according to the vritti or thought waves. When he looks at his image in a pond, it appears to be distorted because of the ripples at the surface of the pond. The waves are the cause of distortion and differentiation. At that time, the person may not realize the cause immediately. Likewise, when one is not in samadhi, due to the restlessness of chitta, the restlessness of the Purusha is apparent, indwelling self. We think that we are restless, but it is not the soul, it is the mind which is restless. Question comes that why a person cannot remain in his own nature after getting up from samadhi or even getting up from deep meditation. A person again identifies with the modification of mind, and one remains the same person because the person takes the form of vritti. When we are in deep state of meditation, we completely introvert the mind and then we transcend the mind, and we are in deep state of meditation where we are one with God. So we are established in our own form. We experience our own form as the soul or superconscious state. We are just with God. There is no duality. But as soon as we finish meditation and we come back, we start identifying ourselves not with the soul as we did, but we start identifying ourselves with the modification of mind, which is known as vritti. So that is called vritti sarupyam itaratra. The other times when we are not in meditation, we are not in samadhi, then we identify ourselves with the thought patterns and we become that vritti. For example, when a person becomes angry, so why the person is angry? The soul cannot become angry. But why? The mind identifies with the anger. The thought of anger comes to mind and immediately mind becomes identical or identify itself as anger. So the whole body, our face, our eyes, everything is transformed into anger because we identify with that vritti. Similarly, if somebody is very joyful at that time, the person is identifying himself or herself with the joy, that vritti. You see that how vritti is, it's all play of our chitta vritti. Whatever is experiences we are having, this is nothing but the play of vritti. And this play of vritti, because of our modification of mind, go beyond that. So yoga is not killing the mind and samadhi is not death. The nature is changed after meditation. But again, there is vritti coming into play and we forget our own nature, swarupa. So now we have two choices in the world. Either we can live like swarupa avasthana or we can remain in vritti sarupe taratra. What does it mean? It is said that ekam eva darshanam khyatireva darshanam. One appears according to one's vrittis of chitta. So we have two choices when we live in the world. Either we can remain in Swarupa Avasthana, means all the time we can remain in our soul consciousness. As a witness, we live and we do not get affected by the action of others, by our own thought patterns. We are just remaining as a yogi. That means to be established in the self all the time to maintain that state. We experience that in Paravastha or silent meditation, but we are not able to maintain it. Or the second choice is we can remain vritti rupe avasthana, means to be established or engrossed in thoughts. So we can identify ourselves with the soul or we can identify with the vritti or the thought patterns. And most of the people, they are in the second option, means we always identify ourselves with the thought patterns and according to that we behave. We forget that we are the souls. We are not in Swarupa, we are in Vritti Rupa. So this is very important. Where do we want to live? In the first case, like Swarupa Avasthana, the first case, a person is firmly anchored in the center. And in the other one, Vritti Rupa Avasthana, one is roaming at the periphery. In the center, there is no movement. A person is in the dimensionless existence because we are at the center. But at the circumference, there is restlessness and distraction. People choose one of the two positions in the world to become a yogi, meditating and enjoying the soul's beauty, or they remain a bhogi. Bhogi means extrovert, restless, enjoying the dual world of pleasure and pain. Harmony in life is achieved through meditation. When one meditates, one goes beyond the domain of mind and thoughts and enjoys the beauty of supreme bliss. A person cannot remain in such a state for a long period of time, yet having come back down to worldly consciousness, one can still perceive unity in diversity. To perceive God everywhere in creation is known as vritti sarupya. To perceive God everywhere in creation is Vritti Sarupya. Love manifests in duality and becomes perfect in unity is Vritti Sarupya. So also anger and angry person are one, which is Vritti Swarupya. Our personality is being affected by thoughts. A thought of joy makes us joyful, is also Vritti Sarupya. So we discussed 4 sutras today. What are these 4 sutras? First sutra is Atha Yoga Anushasanam. Second is Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Third is Tada Drashtu Swarupe Avasthanam. Fourth is Vritti Sarupyam Itaratra. So in essence, Yoga Sutra of Patanjali. So Sage Patanjali is telling the discipline of yoga is to seize the or stop the flow of thoughts or thought patterns, modifications of mind, completely regulate them, stop them. Once we are beyond these thought patterns, we are established in our own form. When we are established in the own form, then the then we see that unity with God. And if we are not in the unity with God, or if when we are not established in ourselves, then we identify ourselves with the thought patterns, and all these good and bad, likes and dislikes, pain and pleasure, this duality plays. However, so this is the essence of these 4. If you want to know more or study more about this, then there is some help I can tell you. Shri Guruji has written this book, Yoga Commentary on Yoga Sutra Patanjali, and Shri Guruji has also given beautiful discourse on the Yoga Sutra Patanjali, which are in 3 volumes. So these are the audio, video in 3 volumes. So all the sutras, like each sutra, minimum 1 hour he has discussed in detail, and essence you can find in this book, Yoga Sutra Patanjali by Shri Guruji. So you can always go into detail by either watching the video or reading the book. There's one question, let me see. The person who is established in the self, then no longer sees good or bad, no judgment of situation or people. Yes, it is true. When you are in your established in yourself, at that time there is no duality. So there is neither good nor bad. Everything is God. Except God, nothing you can see, nothing you can feel. No situation will disturb you. No people can disturb you because you don't see the people in that state. You see only God. Okay. Yes, please. Okay, so we have finished our allotted time. Thank you very much. Praying to God, praying to all the masters to give us all-round development. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you all for participating. We'll continue our discussion in the next class on other sutras. By that time, meditate nicely, be happy, healthy. See you soon. Have a good evening.